Next up, this is going to be an interesting one. Do I have it? I do have it up. Wait, no, that's a different part that we have to supposedly watch too.
He had Titanic queued up by mistake.
Titanic, yeah.
That's still in there. It won't go away.
To be good today. I was trying to be
Is
good.
this what we're gonna be watching, Nate?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna grab my supper.
Yeah, you do that. Surprised it's already done next to you.
All right.
To be honest. So if you guys know, we obviously on the show, I my channel, you know, we cover rumors and leaks all the time. But there's this video that was put out today by some rumors we talked about on this show about 6 episodes ago, from a very popular YouTuber named Beatmups, and he made them up. I mean, we knew they weren't true at this point. We knew this yesterday. He put out a video. Now, I had a video published on this responding. I took it down, and I'll explain why maybe later. Maybe not even tonight. Maybe next week or on a future live stream. I'll explain why I took the video down. But I am curious what everyone's reactions are to this, because this deals with the entire culture of leaks and rumors, which is something we definitely cover on the show quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play, and you guys just tell me when to pause, basically, like when you want to interject and get some commentary in. Otherwise, we'll just kind of let it play through. Let me get it set up here.
Should we wait for
we're gonna
Stash to get back?
No, Stash could Stash could
He's back.
He's already back. Look at that. I don't even have it up yet. Stash, what are you eating?
Good. Yeah, look.
No, yeah, it's good.
That looks good. What is it?
What are you eating?
A stuffed pepper
Yummy.
with rice and cheese and pepper, or some pepper mix, and then like I think chicken sausage.
Everything.
Some healthy chicken sausage. Yeah.
What kind of pepper?
Wait, what just
Bell
happened?
pepper.
Bell pepper.
Okay.
Dude, did we just get another 50?
An orange one for the Suns.
Why is it not start? There it is. Oh my gosh, we gotta show the other 50 quick. Sorry. Karka as well. Well, 5,000 yen. It's not quite 50, but it's still a pink one here. B- direct for me, but we also got 2 very good demos. I encourage everyone to play Eliath and Shinobi. Also 60 FPS patch for Dragon Quest 3 Remake. Yep, we talked about that a bit. You just pulled the trigger. Last but not least, next direct, people will complain that it's too predictable and boring.
Right?
Yeah, probably. All right, let's go ahead. So, Stash, I was bringing this up before. I'm going to hit play on this. I'm not going to commentate much on it because I made a video and that I just took down, and there's some additional stuff I got to examine here. But you guys let me know when you want to pause and get comments in on what Beatmups is saying about what he did that we also discussed on this podcast 6 weeks ago, right? We talked about his rumors and stuff back then. So let's hit play, and you guys let me know when you want to get some commentary in. Otherwise, we'll just let it go.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will. There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. It's going to tease a card, Animal Crossing, coming out in 2026.
People are going to lose their minds, 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 lose their minds.
This Nintendo Direct leak took over the internet. It was shared across Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, all over the gaming news world. But here's the problem. I made it up.
Popular YouTuber Beatmups on his podcast where he said this last month.
There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month.
Beatmups believes a Direct will be in July.
Known for his channel Beatmups and also host of the Nintendo podcast,
said that he had an unidentified source that says there will be a Nintendo Direct.
Woods is not usually a leaker, so this is spicy.
Big Nintendo Direct in July.
And he's not typically a person to put out leaks and rumors.
Woods said that he had a source.
Hopefully Beatmups is completely telling us good info.
A very well trusted YouTuber, Wood from Beatmups,
where a YouTuber came out and said
a new game in the popular Animal Crossing franchise.
A YouTuber said that there's a potential leak for new Animal Crossing.
He doesn't do this. So why is he doing it now? Well, he must be fairly confident.
And I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all.
Is this legit?
Do you believe him or do you not believe him?
I really hope this turns out to be true. So we will see if he's correct or not.
But I want you to know right now that if you are wrong about this, if you have gotten my hopes up,
He might actually get Beatmups online if we don't get anything that happens this week.
I just can't see why Beatmups would lie about this.
I will hire every single Etsy witch I can to put a curse upon you.
And for once sake,
Oh my
you have to be
god.
right.
Your life is going to be ruined.
Right?
Jesus.
I hate gaming leaks. They ruin surprises, they spoil moments that we love, and I've always been curious, how do fake leaks get so much traction? Like, how does something so clearly fake go viral? We live in a culture of constant Nintendo Direct rumors, manufactured excitement, and clickbait YouTube titles. Hey, so I had a thought, what if I leaked huge gaming news? If I followed the spread of that leak, attract its momentum, and then the ripple effects, could I conduct an experiment to find a way to stop fake leaks once and for all? But there was one problem. I am not an industry insider. I don't have any leaks. I am just a YouTuber. So, you know, in a way, I kind of had to lie.
There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month in July. Metaphor. We're going to get GameCube. I heard it was Pokemon Death Coliseum Stranding was Director's Cut S. Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 Metroids. I heard
date.
Isabel's going to show up, and it's going to tease a card Animal Crossing coming out in 2026.
Sorry about that. I actually am very, very sorry about that. I didn't really think of this through at all. I'll be completely honest. I'll go off script and let you know right now that I regret doing this whole thing. I am proud of how this video has turned out and what I learned, but I kind of wish I didn't do it because I did not expect the reaction that I got, and I feel incredibly guilty, and I am very sorry. But I did it, so let's talk about it. I can't tell you how I know.
Hey, yeah. Pause for a second. I mean, to a certain extent, I don't know how you don't see that coming. Holy Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nearly 2 million subscriber YouTube channel.
Right. I mean, the backlash, I mean, you just made something up. I mean, he goes in, I know I've listened to this a little bit with you going over your video and stuff. And I know he goes into a little bit of, you know, some of the stuff of psychology and stuff like that. But it's like, I still don't know how you can't see that, you know, a backlash coming. Once it comes out that, you know, you're lying. And that was what I was holy shitting about. You just saw it.
I'm holy shitting.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Pretty much right half. He's like, hold up, Beatmups, stop talking for a moment. Zelda has a tear at the beginning of the first Age of Imprisonment trailer. I think they use it to save her life when the queen is dying, and Zelda is impaled by the Master Sword, and Rauru saves Zelda with the tear getting the queen die. That's why Ganon gets the idea to eat the tear in Tears of the Kingdom. Thoughts? Sky Sword.
Let me process. It's late.
Yeah. It's a complex theory. I'm liking it.
Yeah, I know.
Still processing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the theory.
I am like, I've always wondered, I'm like, how does he know what happens if he eats the tear? I've always wondered that. But he does seem like he keeps like a close eye on Rauru, and he tries to do the whole fake, like, my brain isn't working anymore.
See, my thought process was kind of like what Eric said. He was getting his ass kicked. It wasn't going well. So he's like, fuck it. YOLO. See what happens. I'm losing anyways. Fuck it.
What happens if I eat this?
I mean, how does anything edible get discovered as edible? Screw it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. I was thinking about that with eggs. Like the first person to like see an egg come out of a chicken and like
I wonder what that tastes
curiosity.
like. Right.
Huh.
What if I cook it?
That white thing that just came out of that chicken's ass. What if I fry it and eat it. Yeah.
What if I pull on this cow's tit and then?
Oh my
God. Dude, what is wrong with you people?
Started as a reaction, and we're talking
right.
about cow tits now.
Yeah,
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
Back to the video. Oh,
I just don't know. No, I just don't understand how, to a certain extent, I could see if it half and half. You have to know you're going to get some sort of backlash from it. The severity of it, sure, I guess you might not see that coming, but you have to know you're going to get some sort of backlash when you come out and say, yeah, I just made this all up just for S's and G's. Basically.
Well, he didn't really do it for shits and giggles, though. He had a purpose to what he was doing. He regretted it a few days later after what it was becoming.
Mm-hmm.
I think he notes that in the video at some point here, but it wasn't just for shits and giggles. I mean, he stated quite plainly he wanted to find a way to stop leaks and rumors from spreading.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought this could be a way to maybe destroy the whole premise by him being this big YouTuber that puts a fake one out there that would make people stop talking about leaks and rumors. Although I don't think that's how he concludes. But that was the premise, I think, was his idea based on what he says in the video.
Yeah, I'm interested to see more of this. Right now, just based on the start, I mean, I don't see it as a bit. I gotta watch more. I gotta see the context and stuff. Just looking at it as a fun social experiment, like a prank type of thing. I see a little bit of humor in that. It makes me instantly think of when Joaquin Phoenix acted like he just went off, he was out of his tree and stuff when he was talking about being a hip hop artist and with the big beard, and everyone's like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix lost his mind. Joaquin Phoenix is crazy. But it was just it was literally just a social experiment, and he was playing a character the whole time. I thought that was pretty cool. We'll see where this goes. So not that I think lying to everyone is cool, but I find it interesting so far, if that makes sense.
All right, let's hit play.
Do with this information what you will.
I worded what I said on the podcast very carefully. I didn't say where my information came from. I didn't even say how I knew. I said quite literally, I can't tell you how I know. And I said that on purpose for two reasons.
Again,
one, I wanted
2 seconds here. Sorry. Again, that doesn't help your case because you aren't going to be able to give up your sources anyways. So to me, that actually makes it a little bit more believable because when you get sources, you can't give them up. So that part right there is it just makes no sense to me. It's you're not going to give up your sources. So that, I don't know. To me, that's just whatever. Sure.
I will just say this. The wording, and I think he was trying to be very careful in a way because he's not someone that pays attention a lot to rumors and leaks. And I can just say this from watching his podcast. When the few times he has talked about it, he really doesn't even know what's going on with them. It's very not even surface level. Sometimes when he talks about it, he's just getting the rumor and leak wrong because he just doesn't care about it. And which is fine. There's nothing actually wrong with being against rumors and leaks and anti that and not paying attention. But he might not be aware that what he said is basically how legit insiders say that.
Right.
When people ask Nate the hate, he's like, do you expect me to just tell you who told me?
Right. People can lose their jobs with this.
So that's one of those things where it's kind of maybe that wasn't thought all the way out at the time.
Yes.
But he also probably just didn't know.
Right. But yeah, I just had to throw that out there. It's this is how actual leakers say it because you're not going to give up your sources. So
all right. Let's get back to it.
People's imaginations to run wild. I wanted to know how the media would interpret that if it did go viral. And two, I was lying.
So I don't know how much of that is true. That's everything I heard. And I never get information.
And I know what some people are going to say. Some people are going to say, oh, sure, now it's some big social experiment. Now you're trying to help stop leaks. All of a sudden, if I was smart, I would have immediately after the podcast pre-recorded something saying like, oh, this is my intention, so that now when making this video, I could show that clip to prove that that actually was what I was planning on doing the whole time. But, too bad I didn't do it. I just did an episode of my podcast, and on that podcast, I told everybody that I knew about a Nintendo Direct that's coming next month in July. I was lying.
You were lying?
I was lying, yeah. I just wanted to see if I gave a bunch of crazy leaks, like I had information and I buried it within a podcast, if anybody online would pick it up. Like if anybody tweets about it, if any articles are made,
headlines.
YouTuber Beatmups 2 million subs leaks or says he has insider info. Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition is coming soon.
Also,
Animal Crossing reveal on the horizon.
I think we're gonna get it.
If I can data mine any of the info to stop leaks in the future, I'm going to then release this so you know that I didn't know and that I was just making it up. I'm sorry for the lie itself. I really am. Specifically to the people that listen to my podcast, who I feel the most guilt for. But if you'll stick with me, I actually did learn a lot about how leaks spread, why people believe leaks, and more importantly, I actually think I've come up with some answers on how we can stop the spread of leaks, specifically fake leaks and misinformation moving forward. Because if you can believe it, this silly little experiment worked. I've made a huge mistake. I have actually been I've been shitting myself the last few days. I've made a huge mistake because so many places have reported on this leak. I should have made like a fake account. Why did I do? I start freaking out here and rambling for a while about how much I regret doing this. So let's just... This all started the very next day after the podcast. I got the first message from my friend RGT85, who messaged me to say, go on. He said, go on July Direct. But I don't want to give away the game. So I said, how'd you hear about that? Your podcast is making the rounds. Is your source legit or what? That's fine. What do you mean? Making the rounds. It was this Reddit thread on gaming leaks and rumors. Popular Nintendo YouTuber Beatmups. What did I do? Claims there will be a Nintendo Direct next month. They linked the podcast, which I actually really appreciate that. And then the list of what I leaked. Oh boy, I feel my heart racing looking at this. To start with, I want to say I'm sorry to everybody that had to read this. It just consumed their time for no reason. I really am sorry. I'm doing it for a good reason, I thought. I can't decide if it was, I'm changing my mind. I start freaking out again here for a while, so how about we just jump back to present day? This Reddit thread was the catalyst to the entire leak going viral. Someone just posting a thread summarizing what I said. And it's so interesting because what they did is they made it look like every other leak you see on Reddit and 4chan or Twitter. When you see those dot points and then occasionally you're given a source alongside it, it's exactly what a leak looks like. It's, I guess, the traditional format in all of this. My podcast clip itself isn't what went viral. In fact, the views on that episode are only slightly higher than a normal episode of the podcast. It was the Reddit thread that went viral. That Reddit thread then found its way to Twitter. This came from Stealth40K, which has 500,000 views now and 5,000 likes. We have our first Nintendo Direct rumor for July from Beatmups. Just a little bit of context of what I actually said, which I kind of appreciate the reporting there. But then again, sharing the snapshot of the Reddit, which is the thing that's making this look like an actual leak. It's on our gaming leaks now. So it seems like, well, it doesn't seem like I leaked it. I did it in a video. It's just, I feel like this is the first step of seeing context being removed. Never heard of him? Why don't we let it happen instead of listening to these random nobodies? I'm actually with you.
I know that sounds mean. I'm actually on board. But he's like one of the biggest Nintendo YouTubers. Oh, it's that guy. I knew his face, just not the name. Well, still, I think it's a stupid leak train that needs to stop. No, I'm with you, Matthew. Matthew! I'm actually with you, Matthew. I hope when you see this video, you appreciate what I'm trying to do here, because this nobody is about to not be nobody of yours. We're going to be buddies, is what I'm saying. From Reddit to Twitter, it then spread to gaming news articles. And let me tell you, in my illustrious career, I've only ever made gaming news articles maybe one other time, and it was when I
think I mean, this is definitely interesting so far. I think part of it that's like missing in some of the messaging is, yeah, like a lie could spread like wildfire, but not just anyone could do that. If I went on my channel and said we have a direct coming and around this time, this is what's going to be there, I have a source, I can't say I can't say how I know that. However he phrased it. I can't tell you how I know that. This would not have happened. There's no way this would have happened. The fact that he's one of the biggest channels, that's him mentioning like I should have made a fake account for this. I don't think any of this would have happened if he made a fake account. You know, look at how skeptical people are with, like, you know, you hear names like Nash Weedle or Samus Hunter or anyone else who pops up. Him being the biggest Nintendo channel out there, Nintendo only channel out there, is the reason why this spread like wildfire, regardless of the fact that it was the Reddit post or the forum post that exploded and not the podcast video. But this also is like, this is like with anything and everything. It's not just like game leaks. People, you know, it's like playing a game of like telephone. You know, you tell a story to someone, the story gets told a little differently to the next person, then the next person, then the next person.
It's like a rumor.
Yeah.
That's what happens with rumors. And the thing is, I find it interesting when he said like this was the point of where like the context goes missing. I'm like, I don't know. Stealth said it was from you and he linked to your podcast. It's just when people, the reason the Reddit was the one that got referenced a lot is because people don't want to watch the whole podcast to find the segment you're talking about it. When the summary provides the information that people wanted to know about the rumor, you know, that you said a deluxe from July and these are the games. But the problem, obviously, and this is something that I've always talked about with the way that other people sometimes cover rumors and leaks, and I'm not going to name anyone, is that I've talked about this a lot, that context is important. And if you just post the Reddit thing, well, there's a clear link to where it came from, and you didn't go look at what was said, you could be missing context about it. Like in my video, when I covered this, I put the full clips of what Beatmups said. I clipped it right from the podcast. I did the full, there's like 2 big clips I took from the podcast about what he said. So people knew exactly how he phrased it, what he said about it, his skepticism that he threw in there at one point about the games, how he's not sure if he believes it. I made sure that was all out there in my video when I covered it. And I know a lot of other videos just did the Reddit post and just said, well, Beatmups said this and this and this. And it's like, well, I've always been a big person that context matters. And I think that's just part of the research. So I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I'm trying to say that this is something I do think people that cover this stuff could do better, is make sure you're going all the way to like the content creators. Make sure you're going all the way to the original source and getting that full context. I don't think that's ever going to happen like on Twitter, where that's like quick stuff. But the content creators, definitely, there's no excuse to not go look at the podcast, see what was actually said, and provide. We're making videos. Put the clip in. Don't use the Reddit thread. Put what he actually said. Just put it in the video.
Well, we showed the clip on our podcast too, and if I remember correctly, didn't he say something like, I'm not sure if it's true, something along those lines? Like
we showed it on the podcast. Yeah, he said that
about. Yeah, I remember we showed it on the podcast.
He said, I can't say how I know, but there's a direct next month. Okay, and then when he got to the game part, and he said all 5 games, then he got to the end of that, and he was like, you know, I'm not sure about this. You know, he put his own doubt on it, which is important context. That was the context of, well, if he has a source, maybe this is a separate one from the direct, and he's not confident in it. Like, maybe don't take the game so serious. It doesn't change the context that in the end it was all just one big lie. but it's still one of those things where at least this is. I've had this complaint about. I hate complaining about it because one of the things that I feel like separates my content is I give the context. Like when people talk about, oh, you really had a 21-minute video about 4 things. I'm like, well, yeah, because I went in deep and provided the context for the story, not just the headline. Like I think that's important. So people who care fully understand the rumor or fully understand the news reporter. Like if there's a new game that just got announced, or is there context behind that game and how it got to this announcement? Like, was it announced somewhere else first? Like Silksong, there's a whole story to tell there when we finally get the release date.
Sure.
And I'll probably provide that context of how it bounced around. It was supposed to come up within 12 months of the Xbox. And I think that's important to go over that history. So, yeah, I kind of wish more creators would do it. But then again, that's also, I think, something that makes my content a little bit different than some other news creators.
For sure.
So maybe don't do it.
I mean, people definitely don't do it, but I mean, this is interesting so far. Right now, we'll see how everything plays out. Right now, I don't really have a problem with what he's done so far. I'll see how the video plays out. I can dive into that like when we wrap it up. But so far, I actually don't have an issue with it. But I'm ready to continue. I'll formulate my thoughts more as it goes on.
I took a pair of metal pliers to a Switch battery.
That was a bad idea. I remember that.
What I'm saying is, it's not the easiest thing to have happen. Pretty much game over for this guy. Nintendo Direct set for July. It's claimed this is on Insider Gaming. There have been a few murmurs about a Direct coming soon, and those murmurs have intensified. This is a spoiler warning as the leak revealed potential new games coming to Switch 2. If you don't want to know anything about the rumor games, it's nice they put a spoiler warning. For the stuff I made up, this article actually goes into what I said and that I wasn't sure completely. I like that this one used insider claims. An episode would claim he had an insider knowledge. Oh, did I? Yeah, did I say insider knowledge? I don't know if I said insider knowledge. I did not. This is what I said. I can't tell you how I know. So did this article just make that up? Though he stayed tight-lipped about his source. So do you remember?
I will say one thing there. The article does say something, insider sources. I don't know that I would have used that phrasing, of course. I don't think that title phrasing is correct. But saying insider knowledge, well, you claimed you knew something, which you could only know with insider knowledge. It's a natural, logical leap that you would only say this if you had insider knowledge. And no one would presume you're just lying about it, But as long as it's presented as a rumor, that's kind of like the big thing. Because you didn't provide any proof or anything. It's a rumor. So the title I do think was a little much. But this happens, sensationalism.
But earlier in the video when I said this, I didn't even say how I knew. I said quite literally, I can't tell you how I know. And I said that on purpose. I wanted to know how the media would interpret that if it did go viral, and interpret that the Gaming Post did, because now apparently I have insider knowledge. And even more interestingly to me, they titled this article Insider Claims a Nintendo Direct is coming. So do I have insider knowledge or am I the insider? I mean, neither of those things are true. I'm not really an insider. And I never said who gave me the information. So suddenly, as this whisper game goes on, my fake leak is getting more and more fake legitimacy as it spirals further out of control. But then it was the final boss of it all. YouTube reactors, Player Essence, Robo-Rob Gaming, Crossing Channel, Nintendo Direct in July leaks from Mossy J, X-Rays, Ike Reviews, Nintendude, Switch Force. I actually think Nintendo Prime was the first person to jump on it.
Well, it looks like we may not have to wait long as we have a rumor from somebody who is not someone that you would expect to hear anything from. The largest Nintendo content creator in the world that focuses just on Nintendo. He doesn't do this. I want to note, I made this video, I believe, either the same day as the Direct or just that. It was before the Reddit thread existed.
I gotta get
while I was making it.
I gotta give you a shout out, man, on this.
For wearing the
because
same shit.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are hustling and busting their ass on the platform, and the fact that you were the first one, regardless of the fact that it was a lie, being the first one here, the first one reporting on it authentically, you know, having your sources and, you know, going into it, that's, you know, that's tough work, man, to be on it fast. So I'm giving you a shout out, regardless of the fact that you were.
Shout out to my community,
You were swindled, brother.
They were the
Just
ones
kidding.
that turned me on. My community is the one who told me about it. It wasn't me that discovered it. My community was like, dude, this is just happening right now on his podcast. I'm like, wait, what? No, wait, he doesn't leak anything. No. This isn't a Nate the Hate podcast. Then I go look and I'm like, oh, well, he did say it. All right. Well, I'm just downloading the show and getting some clips and putting it in my. By the way, this 36-minute video, this is a big news video. There's a lot of news. This isn't the only story in it. So, anyways. So why is he doing it now? Well, he must be fairly confident in the information that he's got his hands on.
At this point, the first one comes here from Beatmups over on the Nintendo podcast.
Oh God, what have I done?
It's interesting that he said this because he has apparently an insider information.
I never said that.
On the Nintendo podcast, said that he had an unidentified source.
I did not say that.
Wood said that he had a source.
No, I didn't. Why?
He says he can't spill how he knows, but he's confident.
I said I wasn't confident. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it.
Apparently, Nintendo is going to have a big Nintendo Direct in July.
Okay, that I did say. I did say that.
And his podcast partner was like, "Oh yeah, he believed it as well." So, and then
I want to stress this. Bingle is not part of this. Please don't rope him in like he was part of the lie. He had no idea. This is all me. He had no idea. That man is not going down with me for this. In 2026.
People are going to lose their minds.
Boom! AC that early.
If he's wrong, I will beat him up. Honestly, you get one free punch.
We have our first Nintendo Direct rumor for the month of July, which
Oh, this one's sad. Crossing channel. Oh, it's all about Animal Crossing. Oh, it's so wholesome, and they just got so excited that I said Animal Crossing.
suggests we will
Nintendo, please announce Animal Crossing next month.
But this one might have a little bit more credibility
For
than
crying out loud.
what we've seen in.
I don't even want to hit play. I'm not even looking. He's not even on camera, and I can't look.
Another Nintendo YouTuber, one that I actually follow. They've made a lot of really interesting content, and I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all. They have nearly 2 million subscribers. They really have no need to get the clout or whatever, like a lot of leakers do. And they suggest that we will be seeing a direct in July.
Crossing channel, I love you. I am so sorry.
Hello, guys. Today about the.
You can do a second take.
I mean, you can do it. You don't have to cough.
I've been looking at all of this for an hour. I can't do it anymore. But this had gone so viral. People were tweeting about the leak and not even mentioning me. 200,000 views and 4,000 likes. Now, okay, the source is linked in the description, but that only has 10,000 views, which means most people didn't see that. And that's when I realized I wasn't even needed anymore. Another one here, one from Obi Plays. Again, just sharing like the rumor itself and not the source. At this point, today and yesterday has turned into just, here are the rumors, here are the leaks, here's what's happening, with no accreditation to whoever it is that's leaking it. So now the leak has a life of its own. Now it's just escalating. At first, when I started this experiment, I was worried. I thought, oh, I've tainted this. How did I not realize that of course my leak was going to go viral because it's me. This isn't some random anonymous person leaking something on 4chan somewhere. This is Wood from Beatmups leaking it on his podcast. Of course people were going to believe me. I'm the Nintendo guy. I thought me being the one to leak it would ruin the experiment in that way. But it was at this point when I was seeing tweets being spread around not even mentioning me that I realized the leak at this point is spreading without me
anyway. That meant that the variable of me was removed. And that is where this experiment can finally begin. Why did people believe me? Even people who didn't know me. You can barely see that. That's better. On these videos or tweets where people don't credit or source me at all, there is so many comments from people excited about the leak, fully ready to believe. To them, this was becoming real. I guess if the rumor or leak just sounded believable, that was enough for some people. Maybe it aligned with what they hoped was true, making them more willing to trust that it was. It didn't matter if it was real. People were running with it anyway. So I went to work getting my PhD in Google. And it was here I learned about something called confirmation bias. This is where we tend to believe things that reinforce our existing hopes, beliefs, and expectations. And we tend to ignore anything that contradicts them. And I saw that happening in real time. The one more thing is supposed to be just a teaser card. I heard Isabel's going to show up and it's going to tease a card Animal Crossing coming out.
Boom! AC that early.
That'll be incredibly exciting.
I think this might be legit.
It was so interesting to me after learning about this to see people say the words, I choose to believe this.
Metaphor Refantasio is one of them. Totally believe it, and that's a great one.
Why? Confirmation bias. We see it all the time. People clinging to fake COVID cures, UFO sightings based on blurry photos and videos, believing the Earth is round despite overwhelming evidence that it's flat according to one guy I follow on Twitter. In all of these cases, people ignore the facts that contradicts their views and instead celebrate anything that enforces them, no matter how silly or flimsy it may be. People aren't always searching for the actual truth. They're looking for what it is they want to hear. And that's when I learned about something else. I went on such a deep dive. I took this very seriously. I almost ran out of room there. The illusory truth effect. Am I saying that right? Illusory truth effect.
Illusory.
Illusory. I said I learned, not that I got smart. This effect is where the more you hear something, the more likely you are to start believing that it's true, even if it's not. It seems so obvious. Maybe it's just something I've never thought about, but yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens online all the time. Think about this video and everything we've gone through so far. What I said was taken and it was put on Reddit. And then from Reddit, it was shared on Twitter, still not calling it X. Then it was shared to news sites. From there, YouTubers made videos. And this isn't just a progressional path, it's also a cycle, because from here, it kept spreading back to Twitter and back to YouTube until it blew out of control and my name wasn't even being credited anymore. And now it was just an anonymous leak. I didn't actually have to write that word. It just felt like it needed more impact. And if you were online seeing all of this from multiple sources, the more that you hear something, the more you believe it. Heck yeah. Oh no. Oh no, people are getting excited. I'm sorry. I swear it's for a good cause. At least my intentions were good. All of these people were repeating what I said. Without verifying it, by the way. That's a side thing, and that should be obvious. One way that all of these outlets and articles and YouTubers and everybody could be better about not spreading misinformation or fake leaks is to maybe verify with the leak, especially when it's as accessible as I am. My DMs are open. So you know how I was worried that I was tainting the experiment by being the one to leak it because it was me. So of course people were going to believe me. There's actually a name for that too. And that's authority bias. You can still read all this, right? It's getting a little chicken scratchy. If someone you trust says something, you're more likely to believe it without questioning it.
His videos get millions and millions of views. He's got nearly 2 million subscribers. So this is probably one of the most reliable leaks rumors that we've honestly gotten in a long time.
The largest Nintendo content creator in the world, he says he knows a Nintendo Direct is happening. People are going to pay attention, not just because he's really large, but because he doesn't do this.
Think about when you were growing up, right? And your parents would tell you anything and you would just believe it. Like they told you that like Rover went to go live on a beautiful farm. And you were like, okay, well, I hope Rover has a nice time. Or like when Elon told you that it was just a regular salute. But because my words carry a lot of weight, that puts a lot of responsibility on me to be careful with those words, which I am. I am. 100% of the time, I promise I am. This is the one outlier because I had a dumb idea for a video, and I am so sorry. There is one more bias that applies to what happens when a leak spreads, and it's called effect bias. This is where people base the truth on how it makes them feel. The emotional response they get from what they read or they see or they hear will affect whether or not they think it's true, not on how accurate it is. It's quite simply just a feeling.
Why would I buy the Nintendo Switch 2 when I have a perfectly good Switch here at home? I guess a YouTuber said that there's a potential leak for new Animal Crossing for the Switch 2. Oh, I've actually always been a fan and a supporter of the Switch 2, and I can't wait to buy it.
I really hope this turns out to be true. I believe it would be really exciting to get an Animal Crossing game this early into the Switch generation.
It seems fitting. Let's hold hands and manifest, because this could be our time, Animal Crossing fans.
If the headline makes you excited or angry or hopeful or scared, the more likely you are to share that headline, to run with it. That's why YouTubers are more likely to make their video title YouTuber leaks new Animal Crossing coming 2026 rather than unconfirmed rumor suggests possible upcoming announcement. That one doesn't make you feel much. And then we click on it. We click on the clickbait. We always do. And we hate it. We hate that we do it. But we do it because it makes us feel alive. It makes us feel. And in this case, the case of my fake leak, it was the feeling of excited and hopefulness that made this go viral. Whereas this video is probably more likely to affect people in that way, which I'm very nervous about. In fact, that's me. This is all of us right here, the four emotions that we're all feeling. This very fact, this effect bias, it applies here directly to Animal Crossing. It's why my leak blew up more than if I had said something like a new Chibi Robo game was coming out, you know, because then I'm relying on Eugene, the one Chibi Robo fan, to spread this leak for me. And you can't go viral with just Eugene. Recently, a lot of people have been feeling like an Animal Crossing is coming and possibly even really close to being announced. So when I said one was, they believed me because they wanted to.
The Animal Crossing tease for 2026, getting us that franchise far earlier in the life cycle than Switch 1, which to me, like we can talk about this more later, but to me, giving it to us that early means they have more long-term
feeling right is more important than being right. That's effect bias. Researching and learning about all of this psychology and biases, it's not a journey I expected to go on when I decided to lie on my podcast, but it also is the biggest revelation I had on this weird, deceitful journey. I've said multiple times in this video that I am very sorry and that I regret doing this, and I am and I do, but this experiment quite literally could not have happened unless somebody lied and then tracked it, because it couldn't have been a real leak. If it was real, none of this would matter. People believing something that's fake, that's what was important here. And now we can look at this and we can know exactly how and why our brains activate when we see leaks, so that moving forward, if we see something else, we can maybe better identify if it is real or if we just want it to be real. While it's easy to blame YouTubers and people on Twitter for posting and resharing and commenting on these leaks, it's also our own personal biases that makes them spread like wildfire. And the people resharing them are also just people. While it's easy to write them off as just a YouTuber wanting views,
they're also a human being that are experiencing their own biases to what they are hearing, getting hopeful and excited and wanting to believe them as much as you do. It just so happens that they also have a platform to share their thoughts, ideas, and opinions on. And if you're clicking on those thoughts and ideas and opinions to have your biases confirmed, you're as bad as they are, or as good as they are. I mean, to err is human. To be human is good. We can all fall victim to a fake rumor if it's something that we really care about. So it's not like we can beg the people that post leaks, fake or otherwise, to pretty please just stop doing it. I mean, that's never going to happen. Well, I already mentioned that you could try to verify the source, especially when that source is so publicly available. But that's not always possible. And it also doesn't always mean that you're going to get a reply as soon as you want to make a video. So instead, in the same vein, let's take a look at how my leak was described online. In fact, throughout this video, I've actually been intentionally referring to what I did as a leak. In fact, I think I've said the word leak at least 50 times so far, and none of you probably even batted an eye, because that's what I did, right? I leaked something. Except I didn't. I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will.
How do you know?
I can't tell you. I just said I can't tell you how I know. I don't know how much of that is true, and I never get information. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it. I didn't leak anything. I mean, yeah, because I was lying, but that's not what I mean. I didn't show any proof of anything. I didn't reveal anything real. Even if I had a real source, which I didn't, it would have been me just spreading a rumor. A leak is something much more tangible, more real. Like, you remember when the photos of the Switch 2 shell and design and motherboard and everything got posted online from the factory? That's a leak. Or like when footage of The Last of Us 2 gameplay was circulating online well before the game released. That's a leak. What I did, it was a rumor. And if you think I'm just splitting hairs here, I'm not. I really do feel like definition is important here. And I think all of the news journalism articles felt the same way, because all of the articles and even the Reddit thread, and even when Stealth covered the Reddit thread, they all used the word rumor. But every single YouTuber said it was a leak. And I want to be clear, I'm not blaming anyone, because before this experiment, I would have 100% done the same thing, because I didn't really understand the difference in the definition. I never really thought about it like that. But that's where fake rumors become fake leaks, and you accidentally end up misleading the public. I'm really not trying to call anybody out here, because again, would have done the same thing. But I do think this is a key moment here. And it's even reflected in Nintendo Prime's comment section, with one of the top comments echoing exactly what I'm saying, that we need a clearer distinction between what is a rumor and what is a leak. Especially so when I feel like so much of the original context has been removed. So I don't know how much of that is true. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it. All of that context got lost in that Reddit thread, and they think, well, if it's a leak, surely he gave proof. Surely there's a reason why all of these people are talking about it online. And I'm going to let the illusory truth effect go to work, because everybody is echoing what he said, so it must be true. So let me suggest this. If you're covering a story or you're talking about something that you heard, if there's no proof or evidence of the actual thing, let's call it what it is, a rumor. Let's save the word leak for when something actually leaks, like my kitchen ceiling recently. Got a big hole in it now. That's a leak. This one simple shift could stop a lot of misinformation from spreading online. So I guess what I'm saying ultimately is, if you're out there and you hear someone say, oh, did you hear that Wood lied about a fake leak? You can say, no, he didn't. He didn't. He lied about a fake rumor. And that's better, maybe. I want to be clear that this whole experiment is not about stopping speculation. It was about recognizing the difference between a leak, a rumor, the truth, and also just trying to learn how leaks and rumors spread. It's fun to talk about games, to speculate, to get hyped. And honestly, we need more of that and less of all of the junk we have to see and deal with every single day. But maybe after this video, if you see another leak or rumor online pop up, you can ask yourself, do I believe this because it's true or because I want it to be?
Hello, that looks a lot better than mine.
That's all right. You don't normally do camera?
No, I don't. And I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all.
Well, it's really nice to meet you.
Yes, it's nice to meet you too.
But I wanted to call you because I wanted to be honest and open with you specifically about the fact that I lied.
Okay.
I had an idea for a video that I'm working on. I feel so guilty about it now. Like I really regret the whole thing. But the idea was I wanted to spread a fake leak and then track how the leak spread online so that I could find a way to stop fake leaks in the future because I hate that they ruin everything.
Right.
That was the intention. Right. Your reaction specifically saying things about how you don't know why I would lie about this and that you trusted me. And so I wanted to apologize to you and the entire Animal Crossing community because that was really the thing that got hit the hardest by this. That was really what made it all go viral is people just so excited for Animal Crossing, and that was the bigging reaction.
That's true, yeah. Obviously, I can't speak for the whole Animal Crossing community, but I mean, yeah, I was definitely skeptical about the leak. I remember saying in the very first video I made about it that I trusted you and I think you're a good source. What I tried to say is he isn't the leaker himself. He got it from a source or such. I guess that's what the post on Reddit was suggesting anyways. So I did say, you know, it's always good to be skeptical about leaks because, well, yeah, things like this can happen and you don't know if they're true. I accept your apology.
Oh, thank you. You don't have to.
I'm sure I can understand where you're coming from because leaks can be really frustrating and the whole sort of leak culture behind games, you just never know, really. I suppose that's kind of my biggest takeaway. Leaks aren't guaranteed to be real. They could be, but you know.
I mean, that was the whole point.
It'd be kind of crazy if they suddenly came out and actually did a Nintendo Direct next month or something, and that was the last thing.
Would you like to predict when, so we can pass the heat off to you?
From what I know of Animal Crossing release timescales and stuff like that, I would say no later than 2027. No insider info, just pure vibes from me.
Well, I love your vibes, and I appreciate you taking my call. And yeah, I appreciate you hearing me out.
I appreciate you at least owning it and coming out and saying what's true rather than sort of passing it off and saying, oh, no, they said this or they said that. You know, I think it's better just to be honest at the end of the day, even if people are upset. It's always better to be truthful, really. So, yeah, that's what I would take from it.
My intention was always to come clean. And it was. Even now, I could just say my source was wrong. And I made a mistake. And I'm never going to trust them again and pretend like it was all a lie. I could do that, but that's not the video. That was never the point. The point wasn't to actually lie in the end. It was to be honest and to tell the truth and make this video. The video's over, if you couldn't tell. But there was a couple of things I did want to say that I just couldn't find a good spot to add them into the video. For anybody that still doesn't believe me, that the whole point of this was that I hate gaming leaks. I had this Zelda Switch 2 weeks before Nintendo even revealed it. Before people even knew if this was a real thing, I had it in my house. But I didn't say a word. I didn't leak. I literally, this would have been a leak. But it's not mine to leak. Also, and most seriously of all, I want to give a big apology to Mayor Ren.
I will hire every single Etsy witch I can to put a curse upon you.
Please don't put that Etsy curse on me. And if you do, sucked in. I already bought my own Etsy protection spell. And I said, I need a protection spell to protect me from other possible incoming witch spells. So I've Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card your spell in advance. You can't get me. Please don't do it. I'm scared of spells.
I will note, he wouldn't be a witch, though.
Mm-hmm.
You might have bought the wrong protection spell.
Yeah.
I was scared even buying this. And it was only $8.
Yeah,
but I do promise you I will never lie to you again.
Okay.
If I do lie, I'll be honest about lying eventually.
Eventually, the truth will be out.
Eventually, the truth will come out, and it'll be through my mouth for the first time. So, you're welcome.
Wood said on Nintendo that the next direct would have Animal Crossing news. The f does he know?
A great end. I do.
That is a great ending.
That ending is great. All right, guys. So thoughts on this?
I think what he did was fine. My gripes with the video is I don't think he needed to go into the whole psychology of it. I don't think it was needed for this video. There's other places and other sources if you want a deeper education on that side of it. And I don't think he offered like a solution, like was kind of like pitched, like, hey, I might have a solution to prevent this. I don't think he offered, listen, I don't think it's that big of a deal. He's responsible for his actions. At the end of the day, the majority of the heat's going to land on him, no one else. He's accountable for making up the story. I think he should have just presented it as like, yeah, I trolled you. I wanted to make a point, because the reality is that people are very gullible. Unfortunately, so people are very gullible, and obviously people are going to get their hopes up. People are going to get let down. At the end of the day, if you ran out and bought a Switch because Beatmups said he heard there's going to be a direct and Animal Crossing is going to be there, but he's not sold on it, that's on you. That's how I feel. But I think he, I don't know. I think he made it deeper than what it was. I think the fact of the matter is, guys, you should treat any sort of rumor or leak that you hear about online with a grain of salt. And I think that should have been the moral. Like, look at how easy it was. I made a mention of one thing. It exploded like a wildfire. People are gullible. I lied. I take accountability. Be mad at me if you want. This was an experiment that I wanted to try just to like prove a point. And yeah, I don't know. Does this bother anyone? This did not bother me at all.
Slightly, but not like the chat's gonna just be going absolutely nuts.
Oh, the chat's been going nuts.
Really?
I've been reading the chat.
Yeah.
There's lots of back
What-
and forth.
There is.
Really? Are they pissed, or are they?
Some are pissed. Some are understanding it. So
Yeah.
it's like a war in the chat right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's his lie that he did as a social experiment that he made a full video on, explained his reasoning. Any anger and blame is on him. He's not putting it on it. And I've never talked to Beatmups. I've seen a few of his videos over the years. He seems like a really nice guy. I don't really know that much about him. This is just like it is unbiased as could be from my perspective.
Sure.
I think like people are going to be mad, and that's on him. I don't think he threw anyone under the bus. Yeah, you're probably going to get people that are going to come on and be like, "Oh, what an idiot! Can't believe you fell for Beatmups, yada yada."
Yeah.
But so big whoop. I just don't think I don't think he should have pitched like, "Oh, I may have found a solution to it," because I don't think he found one. And even diving into the psychology, which I don't think he needed to do. I think he could he could mention authority bias and that sort of stuff. But
yeah, I think he thought that was the solution, that if you understand these things and you recognize them within yourself, that maybe
no
you
one's going to.
Yeah, I know. In general, the internet's not going to. I mean, that's just an obvious thing. And obviously, the thing is, it gets mixed in with like real leaks as well. Like Nate the Hate, totally validated. He said there would be a direct after Bonanza, and he didn't know if it would be a partner or a general, but he said it would be a heavy third party focus. And he speculated to be the last week, and he was right.
I just have a quick question. Does Beatmups have a history of correct rumors or predictions?
This is the first time he's ever. Yep. But
even more reason. And I understand the level of his success on the platform. I get that. And I understand that that's why it spread like wildfire. But I mean, even people like Jeff Grubb, who's had sources, who's gotten a handful of things wrong. People doubt him. That guy's got a number of things wrong in the past. Even Nate the Hate. So
I think,
saying.
I think the reason, and I'll just talk from my own perspective, right? Because I was the first YouTuber on the scene. I was even before the Reddit thread. I think the Reddit thread came into existence while I was editing the video. So I maybe I showed it. It didn't really matter because I put the full clips in from the podcast. The reason I covered it was that one, he's never done this before, which is normally a sign not like there's a lot of first timers out there that I don't report on. You'd be surprised how many things come across that I just don't say. I'm like, nah, man, this guy's got a record. He's a random, but he's not a random. He's nearly 2 million subscriber YouTuber, the biggest one in the Nintendo space that just Nintendo. And I'm much smaller than him. And I've been to industry events like he has, and I have contacts. I know people that tell me things sometimes. And if I do, it's possible that he has this whole time and just never said anything before.
Right.
And that context sometimes goes missing because, we don't talk about who our sources are ever, right? Like it's just, it's just not what we do. The stuff that I'm told, I don't put out there because they don't give me permission to do it 99% of the time. So I just don't even bring it up. So that also helps with like content creators like me that know that it's entirely like, we know he's been to E3. We know he's been to PAX. We know he's at too many. We know he's constantly around game developers at all these events. So, and he's a really big YouTuber. And I'll just throw out there, setting aside the big YouTuber thing, it's also that he's also been kind of a wholesome YouTuber.
Sure.
And so when you have this reputation that you've been building trust, and you've talked about mental health as an example, he did huge fundraising for that.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it builds a stronger connection that people are going to be like, hey, he's not just a really big YouTuber. He's someone that we won't lie to people like this because he cares about their mental. He was not going to do this to people and freak them out. But as some people noted, and I should have noted it in my videos, this isn't the first time he's kind of done one of these pull a fast ones. Well, he didn't leak the Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition that he had early. He did pretend to have it early with a 3D print thing he got off Etsy and a fake box. And he let that go viral for a couple days before he revealed that it was not real, that was a fake box and fake thing. So it's not like he hasn't done like that troll before, but that one didn't really have a purpose other than he wanted to troll and have fun. This one was done more with a purpose, and he let it go for a month. Like he didn't say anything for a whole month on like trying to debunk it or anything. I'll just give a couple quick takeaways because I did make a video on this, but I did take it down, and I'll tell you my personal decision why I took the video down. It's not because I'm afraid of anything I said in it or any of the criticism or any of the things that I learned. I took down that video because me and Beatmups have been talking in the podcast. I'm not going to reveal anything that's said. That's between me and him. This isn't like the little bit of DMs I showed him. I think there's just old stuff that was just general, him apologizing to me for not shouting me out for a donation back in 2020. Who cares? I didn't care about any of that. That's the reason I wasn't talking to just Twitch chat. I didn't want people to really put a focus on me. I just wanted to show support, and I bought one of his t-shirts. In fact, I got it right here. Right? Literally. That was the conversation, was about a piece of merch that I bought of his, and he felt bad he didn't shout me out. I'm like, you don't have to do that. I didn't do it for a shout out. And this was shortly after he had done a charity stream raising a bunch of money for mental health and depression. So like, I was just like, hey, I wanted to show, I donated to that stream, to the cause. I also wanted to show him support later, and buy a piece of merch and give him a quick donation on Twitch. Wasn't a big deal. But then he didn't talk to me for a few years where I was trying to get a hold of him. So I was like, why didn't I, because he said his DMs were open. And I'm like, they are, but he hasn't responded to me for a while. So like my thought process is he's probably just not going to respond if I would have reached out to ask him, hey, you have a source on this or anything. So I didn't reach out. But the funny thing is, after I published my video, then I reached out just so randomly. I said, you know what? It's been a couple years. Why don't I reach out and ask him quick? Hey, do you want to have a conversation about this privately or as like a collaboration video? As like, you're someone very, very much against the leak and rumor culture, and I'm someone who covers it and contributes to it in a way, right? So like, I think that might be like a really good conversation just about the whole topic in general, right? And even if we just want to keep it private, I said, and this doesn't have to be a video, although I think it's a cool video idea. And anyways, I'm not going to say he did respond, and I'm not going to talk about. We went back and forth for a little bit. There'll be further conversations, but one big thing he pointed out, and people made me aware of this after I posted my video. I didn't realize he did an episode of the Nintendo podcast today as well, because I was busy all. So he actually talked about this on his podcast and gave further context. And at least according to what he said to me, apparently he was actually praising how I handled the coverage, even though my title had leak in it. And he wished that more people would have did that. And I was like first on the scene, and I didn't fall into the trap of repeating a Reddit thing. Yeah,
that's why I mentioned that while we were watching the video.
Yeah,
like you were quick, you had your like accurate sourcing, you covered it with the correct context.
But I do have to say this, and I haven't seen it yet. He told me the timestamps and everything. I'm just going to watch the whole episode. His show's only an hour long, so I'll just watch the whole thing. And who knows what is going to happen in the future, if we're going to make that video or what's going to happen. I have no idea. But I was wrong because I reached out and he did respond. And I noted in my video that I didn't think he would. And then he literally did. So that's my bad. I said something in the video that apparently would have been completely untrue because I didn't even attempt. So that is me misrepresenting him. And I don't want to do that. Misrepresent his character just because it's been 2 years since I attempted to reach out. No, he would have responded. So that's number one. Because he might have let me in on the whole thing, and then I wouldn't have even said anything, right? Or at least told me that no, this isn't worth talking about. You know, I'm just talking bullshit. I would have been fine, cool. You know, I won't say anything. But regardless, so I felt bad about that part of the video, and also that there's that additional context that he talked about. He said there's more than just what he said. There's just more about the situation you need to watch in the podcast, and you fully understand it more. And I said, okay. So I took my video down because I want to see the additional context, especially since I had that one thing wrong. But I got to say one thing about the video that I put up, and one thing I did learn from this whole process. I am making a change at the channel, and what I said in the video still stands on this. He's right. I used the word leak when it wasn't a leak. I immediately called it a rumor in the video. I've done this several times, and I'm not dumb. I know the difference between the definition of leak and rumor, and I said this in the video. I used the word leak because it gets more views. I'm not going to hide from that fact. But the thing is, when he showed the context of all the other videos doing it, that's kind of why. You see, one, my audience is older and smarter, and they watch my videos because of the context. So they knew it was a rumor, and this is why the last 24 hours, I wasn't getting flack for him being wrong. I really wasn't. Almost hardly anyone was attacking me for Beatmups being wrong, because my audience is older, and they watched the video, and they had the full context. However, there is this thing to say about contributing to this culture of calling things a leak on YouTube, because I knew everyone else was going to call it a leak, right? I knew everyone else was going to do it. And I'm like, if everyone else is going to do it, their videos are going to get more views than mine if I call it a rumor, even though rumor is the correct thing to do. And I personally don't trust a lot of other content creators to give the context and post all the clips that I did. So I was like, well, if my video can become like the most viewed video of this, then at least the people will have the context that they actually watched my video. So maybe this will help a little bit with the explanation of what he actually said. That was some of my reasoning, but I do this a lot because I do believe that I provide really good context, and also that my audience is old enough and actually watches my videos, which is why I don't get as extreme backlash when this stuff isn't true. But the bottom line is it does get more views. And all of us content creators know it. I don't know if all the content creators conflate the word leak and rumor. Like, they don't really understand if there's a big difference or not. Beatmups said he didn't know before he really dug into this. So that's true for other content creators as well, because the internet kind of treats them the same, right? If those terms feel interchangeable at times on the internet. And I know that, even though I know the difference. So one thing that it made me realize, especially because he used so many clips of my video specifically, and I think he did that intentionally in hindsight. After I watch his podcast, I'll know, because maybe he wanted to show, yeah, even this person had that little bias because of who I am, but then also didn't say I had a source, didn't say, like, you know, didn't go as deep as some of these other people did. I feel like I have a responsibility as a bigger content creator now that I don't think about very often, because I'm 150K plus YouTuber, and there are a lot of these other news channel content creators that watch my stuff. And when I'm using the word leak and I'm the first on the scene, everyone else is going to do it. And because I'm so quick on the scene, because this is my full-time job, if I use the proper context, not just in the video, but in the title and thumbnail, maybe I can mitigate some of that use of the word leak. Because it really sounds like he was fine if people use rumor, because that's what it was. And it's fine. And he even said it's fine to have that discussion about a rumor. Like, he's not poo-pooing discussions on rumors. But getting it listed as a leak when it's not a leak and it's a rumor, and rumors are meant to be doubted, it's in the definition, is important. And it's funny because I've talked about how much context matters, and here I am taking that context away from the viewer immediately in the title. Like, I'm almost going against my own standards. So I do appreciate that this video made me think about that deeper and be like, I know that means I'll probably get less views than some other content creator that maybe doesn't present the news as well and then puts the word leak. But also, what if I use the word rumor and then another content creator that would have used the word leak uses rumor? And then the overall impact is that people end up getting proper context for it, even if I'm going to get 10,000 less views or something. So it was kind of a realization I had, because obviously as a content creator, and this being my job, the job is to drive views to your videos, but I don't want to lie to people. And I think I fully believe that I make good content, like with a lot of context. I don't think the editing is the greatest, but I think the content I provide and the context around the news is really good. And you got to play the game. But sometimes playing the game went a little too extreme. And I knew that people conflated leak and rumor so much that I kind of just started to think it wasn't that big of a deal. But now that this happened, and it's not like this is the first time a fake rumor, I think all the Samus Hunter ones in the past got spread and used the word leak. And me realizing that I'm not a little tiny channel anymore. I kind of like how I feel like he has a responsibility to decide not to lie to people. I have that responsibility as well to make sure that, hey, I can't help if other people use the word leak, but maybe over time, people will more lean into my channel anyways, because I used the word rumor and I gave the proper context. So that is a decision that I decided today after watching his video that I'm going to do, that I'm only going to use the word leak when it's like there's tangible physical proof, that we can see with our own eyes, and or a company admitted they got hacked or something, instead of just, hey, Nate the Hate said there's going to be a general direct this month. So title, oh my gosh, the next direct just leaked. No, that's not the right title to use. A rumor, new general direct happening this month. Something more like that, which is still an eye-catching title, but someone's going to run the other leak title, and it is what it is, and they're going to get twice the views. But over time, I think people might start to lean more into the channels that are reporting on it properly. Even though I'm doing it correct in my content. And that comment he showed on my own video, it kind of resonated with me, because I don't always read the comments, or I skip over some of the comments with the most likes. And my own community's telling me, hey man, great video. Just substitute the word leak for rumor like you did in the video. Like, you knew not to use the word leak in the video. Yeah, you're right. So one thing I appreciate about his video is he gave me that greater context. Like, even though I don't think he needed to go into the psychology as much, I appreciate him going into that psychology, because I think that psychology applies to the content creator and how they title their stuff. And maybe if I don't help contribute to that, and instead just, this is what was said, here's who said it, and it's a rumor, which is that's what I do in the video, but the title as well. So I do appreciate this. So if anything else, I appreciate this video exists. I appreciate this experiment, because it's going to change a little bit how I do my titles and stuff moving forward. And as for anything else that he said on his podcast, that I have no idea. Maybe I'll comment on that later. Maybe there'll be a conversation he and I have later. We'll see. Stash, what are your thoughts on all of this? Because, you were sitting back eating and enjoying the show. Curious what you think about this whole thing. As someone that we basically talk about this stuff here on the show, like, that's the thing. We do talk about rumors and leaks on the show all the time.
Yeah. I would say that I'm unbothered by all of it. I don't take it personally. I don't put much weight into it. I don't have really any emotion about it. I'll be honest, I can't remember like the details of the rumor. And I said it in my chat too, but I don't rely on rumors, right, to form my opinions, my speculation on what new games are coming. Personally, I use logic. I always have. Long before I was ever even thinking about YouTube. You can go back as far as probably 30 years ago when I'm reading Nintendo Power and I'm reading interviews about Zelda, right? And I'm trying to read between the lines and use some logic and infer what might be coming, down the pipeline. So yeah, Gamebird said it, like, this is on him. This is for him to own.
Yeah. And he's owning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's probably getting a lot of shit. I'm sure. Like, I know when I looked at his comment section, it was mostly positive, but that's because those are his most avid fans getting all the likes. I'm like, yeah, but I know what that's like. Your most avid fans get all the likes, but you're seeing all the content creator. Those aren't the comments that stand out. It's all the shit talkers underneath it. So
yeah. And look, I'm old school, I'm old. So I am by default old school. I've never been a fan of.
Acts like he's an elder.
I mean, 40.
That's not a. You just became a man.
Yeah.
You just became a man. You're not an elder
40,
yet.
and I'm a very old soul. I always have been.
Yeah, there you go. Old soul. That's better. That's better.
Top of that.
RC Cola and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys can't see, but right below the bottom of the frame is like a whole pile of Ben Gay.
Icy hot.
Yeah.
Full stock icy hot.
Yeah, right off to his left. He's not full screen right now. I actually think he came in with a walker before the show started, and he's sent to the
again, like, I'm bothered by it. There's a lot of opinions. Obviously he admitted to it. He owned it. That's an opinion out there. There's an opinion that he kind of led his flock astray, and he's got a pretty large flock. And you lied to him for a social experiment. There's a lot of opinions, right? And I think they're all valid ways of looking at it. But ultimately, right, for me, big picture, again, I don't take it personally. I don't rely on anything he said to form any of my thoughts or opinions, and I don't do that with anyone. That's just how I am. And lastly, I really just don't believe at all in the cancel culture, society that we live in. And I don't think this is something that I say, screw this guy. I don't want anything to do with them ever again. And I don't believe in that at all. So, I'm not upset. And I'll say this. I also don't watch this. I don't watch this stuff. I live under a rock. I didn't know who he was until, what are we in, July? It might have been earlier this year.
Yeah, June we talked about his rumors.
Yeah.
June 21st. We talked about his rumors on the show. And I know that you were at least I don't know if you knew he ran the Nintendo podcast.
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a Nintendo ambassador.
Behind the scenes, we track stats and everything. So
Yeah.
like there's like the Nintendo podcast is the number one Nintendo podcast in the world viewership wise. So
yeah, I don't know his story, right? I don't know, and I'm not here to judge him. That's not what we're here for. So ultimately, hey man, it's on you. You deal with it. I got nothing to do with this. I'm unbothered. I'm moving on.
That's why I wanted to get your thought on it though, because like I knew you were someone that really wasn't going to care. You don't know him. Like I've been watching him for years. You haven't. So like for me, I have like a connection as a fan, and it felt a little weird being lied to for an experiment. But he also is the kind of person that would do that. So it's like because he really just hates leaks and he just really hates it. And then I guess he got to that conclusion at the end that I can't stop it. Like he wanted to find a way to stop it, and he goes, I can't.
But listen, I don't know. I really am extremely unbothered by what he did. I honestly, surely Beatmups knew that by doing this, by lying to the audience and letting this play out and documenting all these moving pieces and parts and the way your lie is twisting and spreading, you do that knowing ahead of time that you're gonna ruffle some feathers. You're gonna upset some people.
Yeah.
People are gonna feel betrayed. People are gonna hate you. People are gonna want to unsubscribe. You do that knowing that. Now, if he presented this video like this is unfair, or acting like in shock, like I can't believe people are lashing out at me, then it's like, okay, dude, come on now. But at the end of the day, I think to me, it was kind of a fun troll. I do think people are really gullible. I do think that oftentimes people don't do their due diligence. And I think this is just one sector where this little experiment exposes that. And I think it's good that he's owning it. I think he should continue to own it and be like, listen, guys, if you're upset, if you don't want to follow my content anymore, totally cool. This was a little passion project. This was an experiment what I wanted to do. And I am sorry that I betrayed you. But this was a passion project. This was just something that I just, out of, whatever it is, morbid curiosity in general, you just wanted to do this experiment and prove a point. And I think he did prove a good point. I mean, I remember the podcast, Nate, where you brought this up. We watched the clip. From what I recall, none of us really ran with this. I know I didn't. I can't quite remember your guys' thoughts on this.
I talked way too much that episode.
I didn't run with it, but I'm kind of like Thunderstash in that, like, I love hearing like what insiders are saying. I love hearing these stories because I love Nintendo games, and it's always fun and exciting to speculate of what might come or what could be. But I take everything, even when it's from Nate the Hate, someone who said a lot of us put Baldur's Gate 3 on our bingo cards. That's something that Nate the Hate mentioned a long ass time ago would be launch window Nintendo Switch. I'm not mad about that. People get stuff wrong, and you should take, regardless if it's someone that you really trust, you should always take anything with a grain of salt unless you hear it from Nintendo. Obviously, when someone has a very proven track record, that gives more credence to be like, okay, we might have something here. But I don't know, Wood clearly said in the video, I'm skeptical. To me, that's enough of a nugget, and a clever nugget, to plug into this experiment and be like, I never said I had a source. Obviously implies one. Never said it's a very trusted source or a proven source. Just I know this is happening. I can't say how I know it, and I'm very skeptical. I think there was enough meat in there. And again, like I said earlier when we were watching it, it's telephone, man. Happens every day. Happens on the news. Happens on the schoolyard. Happens at home with family. It happens everywhere. I think.
Yeah, we've seen this experiments many times in different forms.
When he went into like all the people on like social media spreading the rumor and talking about it, but not sourcing or saying where it came from, I was like, yeah, I know. This literally happens every time. It's why I think context is so important when I talk about it. Because like, yeah, this stuff spreads like wildfire, and half the people spreading it don't have any idea if this is reliable or not reliable, or who even said it for context reasons. Like there's so many times like a 4chan rumor will pop across my feed, but people don't realize it's a 4chan rumor because it got spread by like 15,000 people. And I'm like, yeah, I did the digging. It's a rumor from 4chan. I ain't talking about it. Like I made that mistake years ago. I'm not doing it anymore. I know better. Nah, I ain't covering it. I'm good. Eric, what was that big reaction over there for?
That's that show. You can't be skeptical of your own lie. You know it's a lie. It's just not being skeptical of his own lie.
Oh, okay.
The skepticality is part of the lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to see if that context was going to get spread or not, or if it would just be completely eliminated. And he was right that it got eliminated in general by most of the spreading.
Yeah. But it was there. That's why I'm giving him props. I'm saying just own it. I don't and again, I don't think he needed to do a deep dive on the psychology. It's cool. I mean, that's cool information to have in a video. I don't think it was needed. I don't think he offered a value. I think the biggest failing of the video is that there's no solution. You know, in the video, there's no tangible solution.
Well,
I was like,
I mean,
oh wow, we figured we cracked the code.
People just stop spreading fake shit.
Right, which is never going to happen.
He said that in the video. Like people are going to keep making shit up. Like that's you can't. That's the real solution. But like
you know, it part of it to me, part of this obviously was not planned out very well. It was kind of a drop of a hat. Just thought about it and went with it. You know, it wasn't planned out very well. He definitely should have sat down and, you know, this is what I'm going to do here. These are the consequences that I could see. I think the timing of this video is actually bad in a way. It should have been done probably a week ago or 2 weeks ago. You know, let it run for a little while, but get that out that you're lying before the direct happens.
Well, to be fair, he didn't know a direct was happening.
Realized that, but I mean,
just to be fair,
the other things that
I think his entire plan was to wait till the end of July because he said July.
I get that.
Yeah,
but here's the other thing that I don't think also didn't help him is that when Nate the Hate comes out and says it, and you know, people that have, you know,
they connect them together.
They all of a sudden people start connecting him together with the people who actually have had things right.
Tap the Backlog has said it. Nash Riddle has said it. Nate the Hate has said it. Remember Boone Beatmups said it?
Right.
Yeah.
It starts getting connected with that. So I think if he would have cut this off a little bit earlier, I don't know if he would have seen the backlash he saw or is seeing. He probably would have gotten some, but I think the timing of it.
I will defend the timing of it because I think he wanted to wait till July was over when it was very obvious.
But he
that
doesn't
was
need
wrong.
to.
But I think he wanted to because the rumor was spreading without him, meaning people wouldn't watch his video who knew the rumor. The rumor might still get spread anyways because people didn't know it was from him. Like that was part of the video, that people didn't know it was from him. And now that we got to the end of July, it's definitively known the rumor was fake, no matter where you heard it from.
We knew it was fake like a day and a half before the
we knew it was a day before the 24 hours before.
To know it was fake a week before or a week and a half before, I think would have been better timing. Yes, other people may not have known that it was from him, but to put it out there get it out there, I really think that would have helped him before we knew that it was fake by being proven that there was a partner showcase, not an actual Nintendo Direct. I think that part of it made him look a little bit bad. And that's
more upset about this than anyone. Well, maybe Alyssa's really upset.
I'm not upset.
Yeah, we got to get Alyssa's thoughts.
Yeah.
I was looking at the link in the chat. Sorry.
I'm actually rooting for Wood. I gotta say, I think it took balls, and I think just accept the consequences, roll with the punches.
And I will say, the best way to do this is when you are a super big content creator, because your career is not going to be over making a move like this. You know, to be, and you guys remember when John from Good Vibes Gaming did the same thing, but he did it with a fake Twitter account just to see if people would pick up on it, and it did get picked up on and started getting posted everywhere. And he came out pretty quickly after like a week.
That's not a good vibe.
Yeah, no. And he was trying to prove, because he was so sick of people like Samus Hunter, like these no names coming out of nowhere and everyone's covering them, and I was guilty of it too. And that's when I learned my lesson then, that hey, when it's people I don't know or anything, like I'm gonna wait for things to happen before I ever cover any of it. But that was a lesson to learn about covering completely unknown strangers anonymous on the internet. This was a different lesson. This was a lesson about, no, this is a known person. And he even admitted, I could have got out of this easy. and just said, well, I guess that's a source isn't very good. I'm sorry, but that wasn't the point, as he said at the end of his video. Like, the point was to come forth and admit it. But like, it's, someone, but put it this way, someone could be that nefarious with a following and fake having sources. Someone could do that. Someone might be doing that right now for all we know. We just don't know. So it's kind of interesting to think about, especially when I think about, I'm not going to name any content creators because I don't know if they have sources or not, but there are a lot of content creators that claim to have sources that don't show any evidence of anything. They talk about how they were shown something, but they don't show it. And I understand this, by the way, as someone who knows a few game developers, that like, you can't really reveal any of this stuff anyways. But also because of that, anyone could be making up anything and just be getting lucky.
Yeah. I am friends with multiple developers at Insomniac. I don't cover PlayStation on my channel. One of them is a very good friend of mine, and no begging or pleading gets me any juicy information. the most I'll get is like a wink if I'm like warm on something, but he will not spill
a new
anything.
game, right?
Like,
wink, wink.
Yeah,
you're doing your job, right? No.
And will the game come out in the next 5 years? Wink. Ah, cool. Yes, got something. But yeah. Also, for anyone that feels bad when people do share information who have real sources, like Nate the Hate, I think it's proven at this point he's probably does know some develop. He at least knows Modern Vintage Gamer, who's a game developer. I will say that the sources are the ones with the legit people, or I should say the people that are more trustworthy. Notice how Nate several times will say he's not going to say anything if they don't give him permission to. Like, he's waiting for permission to say things. That's important. Like, the sources know that if they tell like someone like me that I could say something, that it is an inherent risk that they could somehow get discovered. So that's a risk that the developer takes. I never feel bad when a developer tells somebody they can say something because the developer knows the risk. So I'll put that out there, because some people say, hey, if you even told them you shouldn't say anything, well, if the developer wants it out there, they know the risk. So I will say sometimes I do wonder if some developers just want to watch the world burn as they're leaving a job. I do wonder that sometimes too. Hey, I'm about to get laid off with all these industry layoffs. I'm fucking getting fired next week. Let me just dump everything I know on someone quick. I do wonder if that's the thing that ever happens, because there's so many layoffs. I couldn't even blame them if they did do something like that. Like, I know they could get them blackballed in the industry if they were discovered, but what if they're leaving the industry, right? Like, because they're like done with this bullshit, the industry, the AAA industry has been pretty rough to work in, especially in the West. All right, Alyssa, we haven't had any of your thoughts on it. So, hey, bring us that female perspective on leaks, rumors, and Beatmups lies.
Well, somebody in my chat mentioned it to me like when I was wrapping up my stream, and at first I was kind of like, well, that seems kind of like shitty to like make up a lie about it directly. Why would you do that? And then I didn't realize he made this whole video, and as we were watching it, I actually found it like really interesting, because I find like human like psychology and like just the way like we operate in general and like biology stuff really interesting. So I thought it was interesting. Like, I found it fascinating to see how fast the narrative can change and like trickle down, and how he all of a sudden wasn't even being mentioned anymore. Now it's just, this is a leak, and he said it's not even a leak, it's a rumor. So it's just interesting to see how twisted the internet can make things.
That was part of that problem with the leak word. Sorry about that.
I understand why you did it though. Like you said, like everybody else is gonna do it. You're trying to make a living. You want to get the clicks, but I appreciate.
I'm also at a size now where maybe I don't need as many clicks.
Yeah.
And try to set an example. Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, people are still gonna do it, because the bottom line is it does get more clicks. I'll tell you this right now.
Yeah.
Any content creator out there, you put leak in the title, you're getting more clicks than I am, and that's just the way it is, and I know it. So it's hard knowing that I'm, gonna let these people put that false narrative out, or they might not even have the full context, and they might keep calling it a leak in the video. And it's like, oh, but if I could be the top viewed one, at least they'd have the context. But no, like, someone's got to try to change it. And not every content creator did put leak in the title. It was just a lot of the more well-known news channels were doing it. So, because again, that's the game. YouTube's a game of clicks. you know, and you're just trying to get people to watch your video because you think your video is good. I get it. It's why sometimes you see my titles like, "Hey, more new Nintendo Switch 2 news just dropped." I'm like, yeah, it did drop. Are you going to be excited by it? I don't know. I'm excited by some of it, but you might not be. I don't. But people want to click. They're curious, you know.
Yeah.
But at least that's not a lie. So it's a lot different than intentionally. Like, I do feel bad about intentionally using the word leak when I know it's a rumor. That's why I don't use the word leak in my video. So yeah, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna try to make a moral stance and change that moving forward. Just like when I called out people many years ago for not putting sources in their description, like linking where they're getting information from, because it was very frustrating as a viewer because I couldn't verify anything they were saying. And then if you're covering a rumor and you didn't put a link, you can't follow even if you put the Reddit thread, at least you can follow the trail and eventually get back to Beatmups. When you don't even put the link, you start to become liable for that rumor. Because now it's a trust me, bro, because they heard it from you and your video is the one that's going to get spread. That's why you didn't put the link. So your video gets spread. That also means you're on the hook. You can't be like, well, it wasn't my rumor. Well, it doesn't matter. You didn't tell people where to find it. You know? So, anyways. All right.
Can I finish up my...
You have some more?
Yeah.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
Told you you're mad.
No, I'm not. I'm not mad.
I do appreciate him like feeling bad about it, though. I will say.
I'm razzing you, Eric. I'm razzing.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I'm not mad. Does it suck to get lied to? Absolutely. But you know, at the end of the day, whatever. But God damn it! I'm trying to.
There's like 12 broken pencils in front of Eric right now.
It's burning up over.
No, it's more of a it. At the end of the day, it sucks. But then again, he who has yet to sin may cast the first stone. So everybody makes mistakes. You know, that's where I was going with it. You know, and people who were saying, "Oh God, look at it, he's laughing. He doesn't mean anything." Sometimes when people are put in awkward situations or like stressful situations, they laugh. It is a normal human reaction.
Mechanism.
It's a normal human reaction that some people have.
People laugh to being in pain.
Just because he's laughing does not mean what he's saying. And so that's where I was going with that part of it. It's nervous laughter, exactly. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't know what personally. I would like to assume. I assume everybody's a good person. Damn it, Thunderstash.
What?
You giggling? I know what the hell. Yeah, I know what you're. I
know.
Oh
no. I'm reading a comment in the chat. I was reading, your boy.
Oh, okay.
Hannah Montana thing. That made me laugh. I wanted to shout that out.
I said I didn't know Wood personally, so I thought you were laughing at that.
No.
You would laugh at?
Oh no. I know.
I know you would have. No, I know you would have. No, I know you would have.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I'm not gonna. I like to assume everybody's a good person until they prove multiple times that they're not. And so it's one of those that I just choose to hopefully see the good in people.
Well, this is the way I look at it when people do this, because again, he's done a troll thing before with like the Zelda OLED Switch and stuff like that. Maybe something about having to switch too early. Those are just things we're seeing publicly. I don't know him as a person.
Right.
Literally, the DMs we just had during our show are the most he and I have ever chatted, ever. Never met him. Never bumped into him anywhere. Never had an in-depth conversation. So the most in-depth conversation we've had. And I think it's because we're both passionate about this topic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think some common ground could be found in there somewhere. So I'm hoping that the conversation continues in future days, even if everything just stays private. I appreciate it because I feel like I'm getting to understand him a bit more. And that's why I'm gonna keep things the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I took down the video.
Mm-hmm.
Not because he told me to. That was never. In fact, when I told him I took it down, like, what do you mean you took it down? Yeah, he didn't want me to necessarily take it down. I took it down because I realized I might be misrepresenting things a bit now that I'm getting more context that maybe I just didn't feel like I had at that moment. That being said,